Chapter 15. As soon as morning has broken, the chief priests, together with the elders, scribes, and the whole committee, consulted with one another. As a result, they tied up Yeshua, marched him off, and delivered him over to Pilate. Pilate questioned him, "Are you then the king of the Jewish people?" So he answered them, saying, "This is what you say." Meanwhile, the chief priests made many accusations against him. Again Pilate questioned him, saying, "Do you not give a response in defense? See how many charges they make to accuse you." But Yeshua made no further answer, so that Pilate was amazed. Now during the feast, he used to release for them one prisoner, whom they requested. The man called Barabbas had been imprisoned with the insurrectionists who had committed murder during the uprising. The crowd went up and began asking him to release someone, as he had been accustomed to do for them. Pilate answered them, saying, "Do you want me to release for you the king of the Jewish people?" He could see that the chief priests had turned him over out of spite. But the chief priests stirred up the crowd in request him to release Barabbas for them instead. Answering them once again, Pilate said, "Then what shall I do with him whom you call the king of the Jewish people?" At that again they shouted, "Crucify him!" So Pilate said to them, "Why? What crime has he committed?" But they kept shouting all the more, "Crucify him!" Wanting to please the crowd, Pilate released Barabbas for them. After having Yeshua flogged, he delivered him over to be crucified. The soldiers took him away into the courtyard, which is the palace headquarters. They called together the whole garrison. They dressed him up in purple. After twisting together a crown of thorns, they pressed it down on him. So then they began to greet him, "Long live the king of the Jewish people." They kept beating his head with a staff, spitting on him, kneeling and bowing before him. After they had mocked him, they took the purple off him and put his own clothes back on him. With that, the Roman soldiers led him out to crucify him. They forced into service a passerby who was coming in from the country, Shimon from Cyrene, the father of Alexander and Rufus, to carry his cross beam. When they brought him to the place Gugolet, which means place of a skull, they offered him drugged wine, but he would not drink it. They crucified him. They divided up his clothes among them by throwing dice for them to determine what each one would receive. When they crucified him, it was 9 in the morning. The words of the sign posted with the charge against him read, "The King of the Jewish People." They crucified 2 bandit criminals with him, one on his right side, the one on his left. Hence the scriptures was fulfilled, which teaches, "He was numbered with the wrongdoers." Moreover, those passing by were hurling abuse at him, shaking their heads and saying, "So, you who would destroy the temple and build a new one in 3 days, save yourself, come down from the cross." In the same way, the chief priests together with the scribes were mocking him to one another and saying, "He saved others, but he cannot save himself. Let this anointed one, the King of Israel, now come down from the cross so that we may see and believe." Even those who were crucified with him were taunting him with similar insults. At midday, darkness fell over the whole land until late afternoon. Then in the late afternoon, Yeshua cried out with a loud voice, "Eloi, Eloi, lama," which means, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Moreover, some of those who were standing nearby, when they heard this, they said, "Look, he is calling for Eliyahu." Someone hurried off, soaked a sponge with sour wine, put it on a staff, and gave him a drink, saying, "Let us see whether Eliyahu will come to take him down. Yeshua called out with a loud voice and breathed his last. At that, the curtain of the temple was ripped in two from top to bottom. Moreover, when the Roman centurion who was standing right in front of him saw the way he breathed his last, he said, "In truth, this man was the Son of God." Some women were watching from a distance. Among them were Miriam from Migdal, Miriam, the mother of Yaakov the younger, and Yossi, as well as Shelemot. When he was in the Galilee, they used to follow him in the discipleship and take care of him. Many other women came up to Jerusalem with him. Evening had already come, and it was the preparation day. That is the day before the Shabbat. Joseph from Hamatayam came, a prominent member of the council, who himself was waiting for the kingdom of God. He found enough courage to go before Pilate and ask for the body of Yeshua. Pilate wondered if he was already dead. Summoning the Roman centurion, he questioned him whether he had already died. So when he learned this from the Roman centurion, he gave permission for Joseph to take the body. Joseph bought a linen cloth, took him down, wrapped him in the linen cloth, and laid him in a tomb which had been cut out of the rock. Then he rolled a stone over the entrance of the tomb. Miriam from Migdal and Miriam, the mother of Yossi, were watching to see where he was laid.